everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Reaction Therapy Podcast. I'm your resident psychotherapist, Tom Stevens, here with the man behind the mission, Nick Stevens. He does just everything. I just sit here. But we have a great podcast for you today. Built, created, planned for by Nick. And I don't know what it's going to be because this is the end of a year. It's the end of a literal year, and it's the end of a year of us doing reaction therapy, Nick.
It is, yeah. This is our kind of our year in recap. I'm gonna call it. You know how like Spotify does their Spotify Wrapped every year.
Yeah.
So this episode's gonna be called Reaction Therapy Wrapped.
All right.
So we're doing a little recap of the year. You know, today is y'all watching this right around a year of us doing reaction therapy. Close to a year, another calendar year in too. But the end of a year for reaction therapy, it's crazy we're even here. It doesn't even feel like a year.
Literally a year ago, we had not even discussed any of this.
Yeah, I know. Like this time last year, we were close, but not quite yet.
We were very close. Well, by the time this comes out, maybe we will have already started. But
yeah.
While we're recording this, it's just crazy to think that it just came up really out of the blue.
It's very quick.
So that's going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah, we didn't even really think it was going to be like even when we did a video or two, we never really thought it was going to be like a channel. We're like, we'll just post for fun. And then very soon we realized it was going to be a channel. We have episodes of this podcast talking about the beginning and like going through what we were processing and what we were doing at the time. If you want to watch that, they're playlists, I'm sure they're back there. If you're listening on Spotify, you know, it's just in the beginning, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. But after we did that, we haven't really visited the subject of like our past on reaction therapy very much. So it's going to be exciting today. So I've got to ask you, since it has been a year, I like to do this, and I know you like to also. Give me your like grade on how we've done, what we've been able to accomplish, just kind of like a letter grade, like kind of like if you think we did really well, it might be an A. If not so good, it might be an F. But what's your grade?
Really is interesting to look at grades. That's quite a fascinating question because most people would say A plus because there's very few channels, just regular old channels.
Yeah.
That start up and have this much growth this quickly. So on that scope, you look at it in the general public. Then there's a personal scope of like myself, like how have I done compared to what I thought? How is the channel done compared to what I thought? And, you know, I'm always a big believer in dreams. I'm a big believer in goals. I'm a big believer in like trying to reach for things that are at times seem unattainable because that keeps us going for things. I would say this twofold. Number one, that whatever grade I would give us this year, it would be in the A range, meaning it was beyond anything that, for me, this is me, anything we thought would happen. And we have had so much more go right than has ever gone wrong that I can't imagine things going a whole lot better. There are some things, but I can't really imagine that. So that's number one. It has to be in the A range for me. And number two, the realistic side of me says, I really look back and there are some things I would have added or things I would have taken away if I would have known it that maybe wouldn't have drastically changed things in the end, but it would have made it cleaner. And so that's the part of living and learning lessons that are learned. But I would probably say A minus.
Okay. That's a fair grade. You know, I think it is hard to give a grade for this because it's something that, you know, if you don't say anything like A or higher, then you're like, well, but how can you say that? Because we never really thought that it was going to be anything. And like most people, this isn't to brag, but it's just to say how hard it is to do YouTube. Most people, it takes 5 to 10 years to get to where we are right now. And so how do you not give it an A by that, like that scope? But then you look at the scope of, you know, we made it what it is, and how could we have done better? That's how I kind of look at it. It's like, before I give a grade, I want to see, like, could we have done anything better? And I think, yes, I think in really any area of life, you can always do better than you are doing in some way. And that's kind of my mindset, is like, how can you improve on things? So giving ourselves some credit, though, I will say that we've done a lot right, I think, and I think it goes back to our mission, is mental health awareness. That has really been something that has held us together, I think. But then also, and like his shirt says, yeah, mental health matters. Get your shirt, because we're doing a little Christmas thing, as y'all know. So yeah, get your shirt. But for me, it goes back to that of like, we've done so good, and we've done so many things right with the whole mental health side of it. And then I look at that, and then I look at like, what are some of the things that we can do to improve going into next year. And I think also for businesses, it takes a while to like get into the flow of things. Like you think of most businesses, they take a year to even make anything, to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so for us, we got to look at it that way too. I think we're very spoiled for how fast we've grown. And so I think we need to appreciate that we have grown this fast, and to kind of slow down and say, okay, we're fine, we're good, like we can go. So anyway, I would give us right at an A, A minus, A, something like that as well. But I definitely think there are things we can improve on. Anyway, that's my long
92 for me. I would give out of 100.
Yeah, I would probably give like a 90.
So that is not an A then. That is an A minus.
Okay. Well,
yeah. That's almost a B, actually.
It's close to a B.
89 would be a B.
Well, it depends what scale you're going.
Depends on scale. It could be a B at a 90.
Could be.
I think I look at it more than subscribers. Like, I think a lot of people measure by subscribers. I really don't look at it as that. I look at it as, for me, I honestly always look at my performance and what I'm doing. And so there are times I've tried things that didn't work. Y'all don't even know this. Like, there are times I try to do things or handle reactions in a certain way, or handle the programming in a certain way, and it works or doesn't work. And then there are times that I realize, wow, I could have been more this way or more that way. And so I don't measure on subscribers. I measure on how, for me, since I'm doing the reactions, like I don't do the editing. That's Nick. I look at how I'm doing at breaking them down. And there's times I get very disappointed in myself because I missed things, or I should have heard this more, or I really wish I had looked back on something or had the lyrics with me. There's so many mistakes that can be made, and I have to just give myself a little bit of grace. So really, for everybody to know, we don't really look as much at subscribers. That was in the beginning. I think we did that a lot the first 100 days. But I think after that, we kind of have let go of that and held on more to the programming of what message we're sending.
Yeah, because once you get to a certain point, it's like we love people, and we love more people being able to see it. But at a certain point, we look at like our quality and like what we're putting out, and really focusing on what our goal is, and that's mental health awareness. So that's kind of turned into more of our goal. And if we're not doing that, and that's recently why we're changing up how we do videos. We're not just doing any video. We're trying to really focus in on what will spread the most to the most people, but also the best message. I think that's how, in 2023, I think that we're going to have a different scale of grading in a way. Like, I feel like the first half of 2022, we were kind of grading based on subscribers. And then the second half, we've kind of changed it. It's kind of like a different grading scale. But anyway, I think it's pretty cool. So let's go into our intro topic.
Yes.
Today's our intro topic, continuing on with this, is kind of just a not Spotify, reaction therapy wrapped. I did that on purpose. Just kind of recapping our year, what we liked, what we didn't like. So I'm going to start with you. What were some of the moments that you remember from this year that stand out? Not necessarily highlights or things that are lower, but just things that stand out for you.
Well, I'm going to just go off the top of my head because
there's so many.
There's so many, and I haven't prepared anything for this, but they're little bitty things. So I'm just going to sporadically, and we'll just talk throughout probably. I remember, like, I've had lots of videos put out in different places before on marriage and anxiety and depression and parenting, blah, blah, blah. that just never got views or anything. And so I thought it was good material, just people it didn't get spread to people. And then all of a sudden, when we started doing this and it got spread, I never forget the days I would come home or I would be at work when you would release a video in the afternoon, and I would watch the video and I would refresh it. And I remember watching the views just go up like crazy in the beginning. And I remember watching the subscribers go up quickly. Like there were days we had 2,000 subscribers in one day join. And I'll never forget the giddy feeling. It was so fun to watch, like, oh, MG, like this is like really cool to see people like liking this and watching and commenting. And Nick remembers I was like, I want to comment to every single person that has put a comment in because I know what that feels like. And it was doable at the beginning, but then it became not doable. So I remember watching the comments and the likes and the subscribers just roll and roll and roll. That was one of my real highlights. And the other one, obviously, is I remember when Tyler Joseph's mom messaged me, which was really, really cool moment. And other artists that have reached out to us as well that have been like, wow, they've messaged us. They like what we do. They want us to react to their music, all that kind of stuff. So those are a couple off the top of my head.
Yeah, I remember that Tyler Joseph thing too. I was at school when that happened, and I was actually working.
Right.
It was towards the end of a semester or something, and I remember I was working on a project with a group of people, and I just got a text from my brother. I'm like, hey, like, Dad needs to call you or whatever, or I need to call you. I'm like, okay. So I stepped out, and then y'all went nuts. And I'm like,
yeah, that was funny.
But that was a crazy moment. I think obviously our classic moment was the beginning where I said we're going somewhere or whatever.
Yep.
At the beginning. That was a pretty iconic moment. Just having the time down in our dining room was interesting. Like we didn't have any of the equipment we have now. We were just doing it off of a tiny MacBook Pro that had no power at all to do any kind of
internet
hardcore,
terrible.
Yeah, it was all bad. We had to route an Ethernet cord from upstairs all the way to downstairs at some point. There was just a lot of moments like that. But I remember really when I would watch you record. Like I would sit in the room with you behind the camera and listen to you record, because at that point, and there was points where, like now when you record, we have it to where you have your headphones on and can hear it through your headphones, but also you can hear it through the computer as well. Like you can hear it both ways. Back then we didn't have that capability. So you would wear your headphones and I would like not really be able to hear, but I would be going along with the lyrics. And when you would like pause and like laugh, I would know where you were at. Just those like moments at the beginning where we were just doing it for fun. They were fun days.
Crazy.
Suicide Boys concert, another one for me.
Very cool.
Pretty recent too. That was just, and then the 21 Pilots concert, we did both. But the Suicide Boys concert for me, I'm like, there is no other reason I'm here other than because reaction therapy is a thing.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have gone if reaction therapy wasn't a thing. And then we saw two really cool guys behind us that knew us. Like just those little moments where things wouldn't have happened if this thing wouldn't have happened. Those are the cool moments for me.
How about this thing right here?
The plaque? Yeah. Gotta be up there for sure.
I mean, that's just crazy to have gotten to a point where that's attainable. Like that's something that happens. So that was another huge one.
What about like a highlight? I mean, I know we mentioned some of the good things, but like
this thing.
So that's your highlight. I'm just trying to.
That's the hugest one because it was just not attainable. Like not everybody just goes and gets one of those. And thanks to everybody who supported everything we've done, we've gotten that. So to me, that was the stamp of like we're legitimate and we've done enough to get there.
I think another highlight is knowing. Oh gosh, don't let that fall. I'm so scared.
Just giving it its due.
One highlight for me, and it's multiple things, but it's when artists will comment on our videos, like when Dax first commented, when Marshmello even commented. Like some of these big artists are like recognizing us, and like
That's fun.
Marley and Benjamin shouting us out was huge. That was a highlight where we're like, wow, like I can't believe they did that.
Let's go back to that. That was really good to hear an established channel with cool people that noticed what we had done, had put it out there. Benjamin's cool, and he's that way behind the scenes too.
Yeah.
They're both so sweet. And they talked to me, and just to take the time and say, yeah, we'll sit and talk about it, and gave me some good advice along the way of how to handle things and manage the growth and all that stuff. So there's another huge highlight, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also like getting an email from BetterHelp for sponsorships, like that was a really cool thing too. It's
Nick,
like, wow,
you got the highlights
it's like,
today.
I know I'll never forget that, because we were coming back from vacation. We were in the airport when I got that email, and I'm like, it's just
wondering if it was really legitimate
like,
or not.
Real? And I'm like, yeah, it is.
Because we have lots of people who have asked about sponsoring things, but not an actual.
And like BetterHelp is one we've been wanting. We had been wanting back then for a while, and to see it finally happen was really cool too.
There was a lot of great moments of, just wow, there's another step. There's another step.
Buying a new camera, getting different mics, like upgrading equipment. Never thought we would have really the budget or anything to get better equipment. Just, I don't know. There's so many. What about now? I don't want to like somber the mood at all, but like, what about some like low lights? Is what I call them. Like things that happen that were scary or like not fun to deal with. Anything for you that stands out? Like I think
like if I go back from the beginning and don't think about just now, like from the beginning, the hardest was two things for me: keeping up. Like doing the work I do every day and still having my practice and
I'll say that now too.
Like keeping up was very hard, especially given we've got a great setup now. Like I can come sit down. I know how to work everything. It was a big challenge for me. I had Nick here part of the time, and then he went to school. That was not fun. Like trying to learn how to do the recordings, but also with the equipment we had, which was limited. And so, there were times my computer would be full, or there were times the camera wouldn't work, or things would happen. And I just felt like overwhelmed with that. So that was one of the lowlights. The second low light for me that just pops immediately into my head was as soon as we started up a Patreon channel, they canceled the Juice WRLD videos off of it. That was horrible. That was one of the biggest lowlights of our whole year.
Yeah, that sucked, because we were like doing pretty good on Patreon. Like we had a lot of people liking it, and just the fact that Juice WRLD, like with his music, he has a ton of music available, but then he has a ton more that's unreleased.
Yeah.
And like we were doing unreleased stuff. We're doing some release stuff too, like a lot of release stuff too, but just how we couldn't do anything with that anymore. Yeah. We had a whole tier for him.
I think that's what a lot of people didn't understand, because it happened so quickly and everybody just got away from it. But Patreon, it wasn't for us meant to do a bunch of unreleased stuff that's not out there. It was just to do Juice WRLD, like specifically to put Juice WRLD videos in there that gave special membership privilege. And that's why we created a tier on Patreon for that, because we thought this is a great opportunity to do extra Juice WRLD stuff, not even the unreleased, but extra, and go in. Well, his label shut down, and they went after people who even did released music, like just that's already out there. So we had to completely get away from that and shut it down. And that not only hurt growth of what we had on Patreon, but it hurt just not being able to do Juice WRLD as much.
Yeah, I remember that day. That was a crazy day. I was like in a class, and I was just getting out of a class in college, and I got text from you. I'm like, and you were like delete every Juice WRLD song on Patreon right now. Like, do it right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I got back to my room, and I immediately got my computer, deleted every Juice WRLD song on there. And it was painful to delete it too, because I'm like, I don't know if it's saved anywhere else. Like, I have no idea.
But they were going after people, and it was shutting down Patreon accounts, and it was just a rough go. So that's behind the scenes stuff that was really disheartening.
Yeah, it was tough. And so there's some Juice WRLD stuff that we've done, but we can't share it with anybody. It's just, it's hard, but that's one for sure. I think another one probably for me would be at the beginning with all the stress of like not knowing what I'm doing. That was it wasn't like it was something that I was able to overcome and like figure out eventually, but at the beginning I'm like I realized I got to churn all this stuff out, but I don't even know how to do it. Like so I spent days trying to figure out how to do stuff just to get it to all work. And so at the beginning not knowing anything to now I know a ton about it, and it's crazy how far I've come with that. But yeah, that was tough beginning, I think, for both of us. And when I left and I had to teach you what I knew, and just being away and having to, call to figure out what to do. And now we're back where we don't have to call each other to figure out what to do anymore.
I think there's been so few lowlights. Like there been very many, few downturns. The only other downturns that typically happen are when we try something new on the channel and it doesn't really work, or we thought it would be a lot greater than it was and it doesn't, so we have to alter our plans. Like there are times we do that, but I think one of the hardest in terms of a low light, which has been a challenge, is as it's gotten bigger, we please fewer people. Like there's just more problems that are created. We can't be as personal with as many people. It's not as just, hey, this is a blast. And people are always saying, just like, I believe in having a blast and having fun doing what you do, which is why I love my job, career.
Yeah.
I love doing this. Just because this is hard and it's a lot of work doesn't mean we're doing it wrong or it's bad. But I think a lot of people are like, hey, take some time off. Like, don't work so hard at it. Well, we've learned in time, you can do that either if you are literally doing it just as a hobby and not worried about any growth or spreading of any message, or you've already made it and you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and you don't have to worry about growth again.
Yeah.
But people don't understand the consistency of the algorithm, the consistency of content plays a part in everything that goes into YouTube. So we have had to find ways to stay more consistent, which we've done really well. But that management of things has been really challenging. Like on top of my job that I do every day and trying to do this as well, and not being sick or not being out of town or not being preoccupied. Like there's a lot that goes into the planning.
Ton that goes into it. And that's kind of where I shine, I guess. I try my best to because I get comments from people that say like, don't wear your dad out, Nick. And it's like, trust me, I am doing my best to not wear any one of us out, because like it tends to be when I try to not wear you out, it wears me out more. So trying to balance that is really tough. But anyway, but a lot more highlights than lowlights for sure.
There's a lot of work that goes into it, but anything you want to be great at, it takes work. So just because we talk about how much work goes into it, how much effort, doesn't mean we'll just take a break. Because if we took a break, we wouldn't enjoy that either. Like go away for a week and it'd be like, yeah, I mean, it's nice to not have constant work to do, but it's like I would miss it and I get out of the flow. When we went out of town on a trip this summer, it was hard to catch back up and get in the rhythm. So I enjoy doing it. I mean, it's just finding a balance.
There was that one time that when we did go on vacation where we had to pre-record like 2 or 3 weeks ahead, and you didn't record for like 2 weeks.
It was pretty nice.
It was nice, but then I'm sure when you got back, you're like, probably had to do like a lot for that first video back.
We've learned a lot about how to create the balance.
Yeah. All right. This is going to be fun. This is our next segment. I guess it's our topic of the day. So yeah, our topic of today, which, it's not going to be a super, super long one, but it's something that I think is something that we can do as we go throughout the years of doing this. Because I envision this to be a multi-year thing. I'm hoping, I'm praying that this is a multi-year thing. Going. So this is going to be our first annual, and we might change it around a little bit. This is going to be our first annual Reaction Therapy Award show.
Oh, wow.
So I don't have any music or anything. Maybe in post-production, I'll try to put music in or something. But our RT Award show, and we're doing this based off of artists and music that you've reacted to. So we have different categories. So if you know anything about sports or anything to do with like talent shows or anything like that, there are different awards that are given out, such as like sports. There's MVP for most valuable player or most valuable song, whatever. They're different awards. Like,
Yeah.
so we're just going to go through that.
Okay.
So our first award, and you might have to think about this a little bit. First award is the most underrated artist that you've reacted to.
Most underrated.
So that basically, I'll explain kind of what these mean. So underrated means somebody who doesn't get the attention or recognition that you think they deserve. Somebody that you think is really good that might not get the attention, or maybe somebody who you like that some people might not. So somebody that you think is underrated, and you can look through and think about it.
I'm gonna have to look through the list. I didn't even realize how many artists we've reacted to.
It's in probably
There's
the 80s.
So many.
80s to 100 even.
But I'll let you go first on that. How about that?
Okay, I'll give you mine. My most...
Did you plan this and been ready for it?
Well, honestly, I didn't do it for me, so I'm gonna have to think off the top as well. My most underrated, and this might be somebody who is popular, but doesn't get all the attention that
you're talking about on our channel or in public, like
on our channel,
in terms of music.
It has to do that we've reacted to
just with us. Like, okay, got it.
Somebody we've reacted to. I'm gonna go, and this could be some of my fault. I'm gonna go Post Malone. Most underrated artist that we've reacted to. You've reacted to him a couple times, and I think, and even like view wise, like he doesn't get the most views ever from people on our channel, but I think Post Malone has a lot of really, really good songs, and he's very underrated for me. And I could go with others, but there's another one I'm thinking of, but Post Malone would probably be mine off the top of my head.
Yeah, there are reactions we do sometimes where it's like, how does that artist not get more views or more attention? And it's like, you can really tell, like, it seems like really good music and it doesn't. Off the top of my head, like the first one I think of is Rod Wave. Okay. Like Rod Wave to me has some amazingly good music with good lyrics and good beats, and he really doesn't get a whole lot of attention on the videos we put out.
True.
So that's one for sure.
Okay.
We were talking about earlier Lecrae.
Right. Yeah.
Who, as a Christian rapper, I guess, naturally doesn't get as much attention.
That's true.
Which is kind of sad, but I do like a lot of his music as well. Underrated.
Okay, we got other awards that we can go to.
What else do you? Any others there for you, or is that it?
Another one would be Joyner Lucas. We've had a couple of his, and his music is really good too. Maybe not appealing to our audience, but I think he has a lot of good stuff as well.
Okay.
So
the other thing I say, which is a favorite of mine, honestly, like I like all of the. Who is it? Olivia Rodrigo and
Billie
Eilish, but Olivia Rodrigo, the other girl,
Demi Lovato.
Really, her Taylor Swift I like a lot, but she's super famous. Like she's just underrated on our channel. Like wouldn't be popular on our channel. Yeah. But the other one also on our channel is Justin Bieber. I think that I like a lot of his music, the new and the old. And I think a lot of people would just feel like he's overrated, but I don't think so.
All right, this is gonna be interesting. Best non-rap artist.
Non-rap,
because we do a lot of rap, and people always say we do like all we do is rap music, but we've done a lot of non-rap.
So on our channel, what we've done, you're talking about, yeah. First off the top of my head is Linkin Park.
Okay.
Now people, I guess, might say they have rap.
They have rap, but it's not like
they're not considered rap though.
Rap. It's not like NF rap or X rap or something like that. So that's a good one.
And we're talking about YouTube, right? Because we do have other stuff. We have extra stuff over on. But when I look at trying to look at the ones that are non-rap related.
I don't even know. I'm trying to think too.
Willie Nelson, very good. Love Willie.
You know, for the non-rap one for me, I would probably say Justin Bieber.
Yeah, good.
He has a lot of really good songs that.
And then some that we've just done one reaction for that I think we should do more reactions for, like Coldplay or something. I feel like we should do more of.
Okay, well, we can move on.
I like Pink a lot. The one we did
Pink.
with her, loved that video, and I would like to actually see more of her music. That's part of the problem, though. We, you know, if we picked the things we wanted, or I picked the things I wanted, I'd listen to that Pink reaction we did, and then I'd probably be like, let's do more from her. But it would not be something that's popular on the channel.
Yeah. Okay. This next one is the surprising star, or the standout star that it's kind of surprising to you that you didn't really think you would either like or you didn't think would do very well. Somebody that you were surprised by when you listened to them.
Okay, that's two different questions. So one is I was surprised, like I really like them and I didn't think I would. And the other one you're saying, I think what that is, I didn't realize they do that good on our channel.
Yeah. You can do both.
Do both of those. I mean, Suicide Boys, obviously for me, is who I'm was really surprised as I dove into their material that I would like it, and really liked it even more after the concert. So hands down, that's one that there's a lot of people at Eminem and Lil Peep and Juice and all them that I don't know that I was shocked I would like them. Suicide Boys, I thought I would not like, I would dislike.
Yeah.
And it was the complete opposite. So I will say also the underrated one on our channel, which I believe isn't the fan base, it's just our channel, is 21 Pilots. They're pretty, they don't get as much love on our channel as I think they should. So
they get love on our Patreon though.
They do. Suicide Boys for sure on the ones I thought, but on our channel, gosh.
You don't have to like look super deep if you don't know. It's fine.
Trying to think. Awkward silence.
Yeah. We have 4 more, and
you don't have anything on those?
I didn't really think of it, but I think for me, well, for the surprising star for me is Joji. I didn't know Joji would do as good as he has.
Yeah, that was really shocking.
Like, Joji has done really well.
That is surprising to me. I didn't realize Joji would be so popular. Same with Bo Burnham, though. You know, we did some of his, and he has such a strong following. I just didn't realize that would actually be popular.
Yeah.
And Tony all along, you know, your brother's saying, Bo Burnham.
I know.
And then boom. Yeah, you're right about that. Good point.
So let's do these a little quicker.
Just speed it up, Tommy.
For the sake of time. Next is the most consistent artist. Somebody who's been like very consistent through all of their music. Like you have kind of like you haven't ever like Laid Back Just Trash Your Past. Like you haven't ever trashed them. Like they're consistent with everything they put out for you.
Yeah.
Who would that be for you?
NF and Eminem.
Yeah. Yeah, for NF for me for sure.
Those two
would be that.
They are it's consistently good quality music. It runs along the same line. Like even 21 Pilots, whom I love, like top 3 for me, they are up and down with very different ranges of music. So some could be a hard, fast song, some could be a slow, depressing song, some could be a poppy. Like they have such different. With Eminem and NF, they just seem to just continually put out the same, like, it's just potent, man. I don't know. Those two are strong.
Yeah, you never run out of their music where you're like, oh, this kind of is not good. It's like everything is just like
really crazy,
really solid.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, the best beat drop.
I have no idea. I've heard so many good ones.
Of any song that you can think of right now, what song had the best beat drop in it?
You're going to have to do this one. Don't know. I mean, I'd have to hear it. It's been crazy. I could name artists, you know, all of them.
Yeah.
I've had great ones.
For me, I mean, Juice WRLD has a ton of really good ones, but This one is actually a video that it's not on YouTube right now. It's on Patreon. The best beat drop that I've heard is Lecrae Spread the Ops.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
that's right, Nick.
Had a crazy
Go
beat drop
listen
in
to
it.
Spread the Ops and hear that drop.
I guess it's crazy. That's the one that comes off the top of my head.
Boom.
But obviously there's a lot of Juice WRLD songs.
And man, when you put
really
my
good
headphones on, which Nick now knows, like those puppies, you hear a good beat drop, put those on, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lil Peep's got good beat drops too, though.
Yeah, he does.
I'll give him props. He's done a good job on those. More than any, to me, Lil Peep and Juice WRLD have the two craziest beat drops.
True.
We were talking about artists.
Yeah. All right. Next one, best song.
Best song.
The best song you've heard this year.
God. Man, that's really making me stretch. Like, I don't know. Like,
best song. I don't really even know what I would say.
if I gave one song,
The best song.
you don't have one?
Well,
and you created this. You
no,
should have already thought of
that
this.
That doesn't mean that I was doing it for you. I wasn't doing it for me.
Man, how am I on the hook for this?
Honestly, like, man, it's tough for me too. Like,
I'm scrolling through very quickly all of the music
I can
we've done.
see. It might, honestly, my favorite song might be one of the earliest ones we did. The first one, like Just Like You, NF, the very first one you ever did. It's one of the best songs that relates to the most people. That's a really good one.
Trying to think.
You can give it to two people if you think of two. I should have given this to you ahead of time. So you could know. But anyway, I just have this one and one more.
I'm thinking. Keep talking.
I'm trying to think of one for me because, like, there's a lot of good Juice WRLD songs. Like, I know yours, a couple of your favorite Juice WRLD songs. For me, one of my favorites is "Lean With Me," Juice WRLD.
Lean With Me.
That song's crazy for me. That's one of the best songs. And like, it's hard to do best song because it's like best song for like what? Like, if you're in like a really good mood and you just want to listen, or for meaning, like if you want to get a good meaning out of a song, it's hard. But
I think, and I was looking through 21 Pilots song because so many of theirs are like anthems for me, but Lane Boy's a biggie. That'd probably be one of my favorite all-time songs. Clearly Eminem in terms of his music, and what did I say? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking right now, but my favorite Eminem song has been
Darkness.
Believe. Gosh almighty. Like, when I think of the depths of my life, like in the bottom of my life where I feel like I could have lost everything, or I had a big decision to go one way or the other, and if I'd have chosen this way, it would have just been disaster. Like, when I hear that song Believe by him, it gives me the feeling of like, I'm the only one that I can rely on to actually make my life better. I can't just, have somebody bail me out. I can't just magically snap my fingers. I'm going to have to grind every day in spite of what anybody else thinks of me to do the best I can to build and grow and get better. And when I hear that song, man, it's crazy. He's got a lot of good anthem songs, but I hear that. So that one, Lame Boy, obviously NF with tons of his music. That's just, Nate. Like, I think of songs that pull on my history of where I've been and the bottom that I've been at. Because whenever I reflect, remember I always say you need to reflect, not dwell on the past. But whenever I reflect back and think, wow, I've been there, it helps me not stay there.
Another one of mine was my pick for November. Scared of the Dark. It's one of my favorite ones too. It's about not being afraid, like knowing your worth. So that's a big one for me as well.
Suicide Boys, Paris, Matt Black. Those two I remember that stood out to me.
Yeah, a lot of good ones. All right. Who is your MVP? You're the most valuable. Your favorite, just the MVP of this year.
Like an artist?
Yeah. The MVP.
MVP. And you give trick questions because MVP could be, wow, this artist really made our channel different. Or it could be, it's just what I thought was the best.
Okay, well, it's an award show. It's an MVP.
Like if you're talking about reaction therapy, then you're going to go strictly by views and who got the most, which is
I'm not doing it by view. I'm doing the most valuable. Sure, let's do it the most valuable to our channel, not necessarily view-wise, but the most influential artist to our channel who you think gives the best messages or who is kind of
that's a whole nother category.
No, it's the MVP of our channel through 1 year.
Well, I'm going to give 2 awards because number 1 is NF, but the guy hasn't had any new music.
Yeah.
So we go through the journey. We finished that in what, April, May?
Yeah. And
it's like there's been zip. So he, in terms of his body of work, is way up there. Eminem is really high. 21 Pilots is high. So in terms of most valuable, like 21 Pilots would be me. Like that would be me in terms of like, they've meant the most to me because I've watched that. We're doing every single song they've ever done. Eminem is in terms of like learning about himself and his life, and he puts himself out there and he's got so much popularity. That would be probably my MVP.
Okay.
Is Eminem.
Nice.
Well, you go ahead.
Well, and then you gotta give some kind of award. No awards so far to the guy we have a shirt after. Juice WRLD. Like he's got to be up there in something.
Juice,
right?
Clearly, in terms of me and this channel, has made this channel.
Yeah.
Like in terms of popularity of overall music, because Eminem has just been the longevity. He's been the dude's been around 20 something years.
30 maybe, yeah.
So you compared Tom Brady in the NFL to Patrick Mahomes. It's like, they're both great, but Tom Brady's been around he has the longevity. So yes, I'm not skipping out on Juice WRLD. I have a shirt now. How many people do we have shirts named after? None.
One.
So he clearly is the GOAT of our channel, meaning he's the one I would believe that made our channel. Hands down. So anybody listening to this, Juice WRLD made our channel. And the thing I struggle with Juice WRLD is some of his music just goes out of bounds.
Yeah, that's why he didn't win the most consistent.
It's exactly it. It's like I can't help him. He's like clients I have where I'm like, just stay in bounds and you're awesome. But he struggled with that. So yes.
Yeah. He had a song where he said that to something, I'm out of bounds or something. Yeah. I don't remember what.
But we should give like a they have like most improved awards, and then they have like not 6th man award in basketball, but like the person who the breakout award,
Well, that's what I was trying to do with like the surprising
and
star.
For me, that was Suicide Boys.
Okay.
Suicide Boys was the biggest shocker of the channel for me. Well, not for y'all, not for people listening.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, I can't believe I like them so much, and I want to keep listening.
Yeah. So that would be like, I tried to do it in terms of that.
And 21 Pilots was the most heartening, like for Jackie to introduce them to me and to learn about them when I didn't really know anything about them.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Could go on and on.
That's the award show. Next year we'll have have the most improved, because we can't really do most improved year one, but like, Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If y'all want to see us rank some of these artists on Tom's favorite, then go over to Patreon or become a YouTube member to get to see that extra episode. Comes out every Monday.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching.
Loved having y'all here. Thank you for supporting our mission of mental health as I have the close on, because mental health does matter. And thank you for giving us your time, your understanding, your support, your encouragement. It has been awesome. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next Reaction Therapy podcast.